Are you tired of not feeling like you're that bitch? Well, you've come to the right place. Welcome to That Bitch Energy, the podcast, where we're all about tuning into your highest self and growing your awareness, presence, and consciousness while keeping it fun, relatable, modern, and grounded. Let's get into it and embody that bitch energy from within. Ain't nobody seen a bitch like me. I'ma come up on ya. Ain't nobody warned ya. Welcome to another episode of That Bitch Energy, the podcast. I'm your host, Bianca, and I'm so fucking excited that you're here. So excited. This next one is about how our worth is not tied to how busy we are, how much we work, how tired we are. Yeah, I said it. I said it and I'll say it again. Your worth is not tied to how busy you are, and feel it. That's what today's episode is about. So let's get into it. Let's start with how many times have you been asked, hey, how are you doing? And you answer with, hey, I've been really busy. And you actually feel proud of that response because being busy means you're doing something and you're worth something. It's okay. We've all felt this way. We've all said this before. But let me tell you something, my love. You are not just a to-do list. Society has conditioned us to believe that productivity equals value. But being busy doesn't necessarily mean you're thriving. It just means you're busy. Your worth was never meant to be tied to how busy you are. Your worth was never meant to be tied with how much you do, how much you hustle, or how exhausted you might feel at the end of the day. Let's take a deep breath together and remind ourselves, I am worthy, even when I rest. I am worthy, even when I rest. And really feel that energy. Breathe it in, soak it in. And honestly, the truth is, when we're running on empty, which I see many people, I've been one of those people, I am that sometimes, running around on empty. We are not vibrating at our highest frequency when we are on E. That's just the truth. You are not attracting abundance, joy, connection when you're on E. You're just surviving. So let's switch it up. Let's change the story. Instead of thinking, I need to do more to be enough, I want you to try this mantra. I am enough because I exist. I am enough because I exist. Say it loud right now to yourself and feel it in your body. I invite you to try and feel it in your gut. Breathe in and feel that feeling of enough in your gut and see how that feels for you. You are already enough as you are. That is the truth. Even if you didn't cross one single thing off your to-do list today, your worth does not change. Productivity might impress people. We see it impress people firsthand, impress people. But presence connects you to your highest self. And that's what we're here for, is to grow our consciousness, is to grow our present awareness. When was the last time you gave yourself permission to just be? Not do, not achieve, just be. Can you remember it? Where you just sat in quiet and felt your energy, witnessed your energy, witnessed the space within you, without letting thoughts take over, without letting thoughts take you away from the present moment. Well, stillness can feel extremely uncomfortable at first. I know firsthand what that's like because it took me a long time to get comfortable in my stillness. We're all so used to filling every second of every day with distractions, things to do lists. How can we do better? What can we do better? If I do this, I'm worthy. If I do this, I'm going to be accepted. If I do this, I'm going to be rich. And when I'm rich, I'm enough. But let me tell you something. Stillness is where the magic lies. Stillness is where you can find you at your core. Stillness is where you can really let your body, your divinity talk to you. It's where you hear whispers of your intuition, and it's where you can reconnect with your soul. Here's a little quick practice. If you're like, what the fuck is she talking about? How do I even get there? I don't know what the fuck. Well, I'll give you a little step-by-step guide. Just something really simple. Start by giving yourself a 5-minute timer. It can be on your phone or a timer. Sit on your couch, on your bed, on the floor, whatever is a very comfortable spot for you to do this stillness practice. Close your eyes and just breathe. Until that timer goes off, baby, just breathe. If your mind starts to wander, your to-do list pops up right in the forefront, let it pass. Let it pass. Remind yourself when those things come up and it starts to overwhelm and overtake your body and your energy, that you are separate than your thoughts. So those thoughts that are coming in are just passing sensations, and you can just let them pass, because that's what they are, is just a passing sensation. Here's you, and here's your thoughts. And in between where my face is the space between the two. If you need to draw this out on a piece of paper so you can actually see a physical representation of you separate from those thoughts, maybe then it can connect. But when you do find yourself thinking about all the worries and all the to-do lists and all the things that you could be doing besides sitting here in stillness, focus on your breath. Let your breath bring you back to you. Let your breath bring you back to you. Just try that. I'd love to hear your experience if this is your first time ever sitting in stillness with yourself. Intentional stillness with self. I would love to hear your experience and how this might have, dropped you in, dropped you down, grounded you. I'd love to hear that. It's in these moments of stillness that you remember who you are. And I hate to break it to you, and I love to break it to you. You are already that bitch, honey. Don't forget it. You didn't need anything. You just forgot it. You just forgot who you were. I also want to talk about another spiritual practice of mine, because saying no for so long was hard. In my last podcast, I talked about it. A good spiritual practice is learning to say no. Every time you say no to something that is no longer aligned with you, to something that's draining you, you're saying yes to yourself. You're protecting your peace, your energy, and your time. I want you to ask yourself a couple things. Am I doing these things because they align with me, or because I feel like I have to do these things? Because listen, being busy doesn't make you more lovable or even more successful. It just eventually leads to burnout. You're allowed to let go of the things that no longer serve you. If that's saying no to a job that seems crazy to say no to, if that's saying yes to something that seems crazy to everyone else, go for it. You know what's aligned with you. You're allowed to create space for yourself, for your creativity, and for joy. And I want to be honest here. Your worth is inherent. It's not tied to your schedule, your achievements, or how many plates you got spinning at once. Find one thing this week on your to-do list. If I can give any advice, find one thing on your to-do list that you can let go of. Scratch that hoe off and replace it with something that fills your cup. Take a nap. Watch the sunset. Call a friend and just have a good laugh. Because when you embody your worth, you don't have to prove anything to anyone. Not even yourself. Because you are already that bitch. And if you know somebody who's constantly running on empty, always overworking, the workaholic in your family or in your friend group, share this episode with them. Think of it as just a small reminder to them and to yourself that rest is not a luxury. It's a necessity. Sometimes the people who need rest the most are the ones who don't even realize they need it, because they're so used to the grind and to the hustle. So let's give them a gift, a reminder. They're worthy just as they are, even when they need a pause. Because we all deserve to feel like that bitch, well rested, aligned, and whole. Thank you for tuning into That Bitch Energy. I love you, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Ain't nobody seen a bitch like me. I'ma come up on ya. Ain't nobody want